Good.
You heard you.
Good. Okay. All right, so we'll bring the Town of Bremen Plan Commission meeting to order. Tony says we've all got the minutes in front of us from the June 22nd meeting. If there are no additions or adjustments to it, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
The only adjustment I have, I don't know how important this is that the word benzene appears twice and it's actually misspelled.
How is it?
It's Benzene,
Okay.
not Zine. Other than that, I have no issue.
So if someone wants to make a motion to approve them as amended with the spelling of the word benzene corrected.
I'll move that we approve the minutes correcting the spelling of the word benzene.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor of the minutes being approved with the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, the minutes are approved. And then tonight we are reviewing and discussing the special use exception. You both, hopefully, we have this.
All the amendments.
Okay, all the amendments,
You've got a
okay.
copy of the notice that has the amendments on them. So basically, last week's meeting was for the public to come in and comment. And this week's
Okay.
meeting is for the plan commission to essentially discuss the proposal. And ideally what you would do, you don't have to do this tonight, you could kick it down the road if you felt necessary, but you would make a recommendation. It's either favorable, it's unfavorable, or you make no recommendation. You can purposefully say no comment. The next step after that is actually we come back sometime within the next 10 business days and we have another meeting where you certify that recommendation and say, yep, we're serious about it now. And then the town council has the ball in their court and they can actually approve amendments to the zoning ordinance. So,
Okay.
so the purpose for tonight is for this body to discuss the amendments, especially in light of the public comments that you just received at the last meeting.
Anybody have any initial thoughts, comments, concerns?
The thing that caused me the most pause was the distance from any of these retailers to private properties. I think it was listed at 500 feet from residentially zoned or used property for both gas pumps and vent pipes. And after so many people expressed concern about that, I feel like 500 feet might be not a healthy distance. It might be too close. I don't know where the 500 feet came from, or, I mean, you said that you had done a lot of studying of other.
Got the caramel comment.
This was, I think my comment when it was asked during the meeting was, I got that number for the initial proposal, essentially by looking at communities that have them. And to be fair, a lot of communities don't have anything. And it's worth noting that the state doesn't have a basic standard of its own.
Right.
But I believe California has it, some equivalent in, I know Australia, communities around the country. It's rare, I would say. I wouldn't call it common. 500 feet was what Carmel had used. That's the other Indiana example. So that's where that came from. I think the idea was research shows that really the distances that we allow, and to be clear, we're not changing any existing uses. But if we are planning for the future, any new development, any new housing going in ought to be further away, or any new gas station that's going to be selling fuel needs to be further away from homes than what we have allowed in the past.
I mean, how long are our city blocks?
Normally a block is roughly 300 feet.
Okay,
City
so
block.
even 500 feet, you're talking a block and a half away
Yeah.
from residents. That's
The
not
reading,
that good to me.
the reading that I've done is the benzene vapors at 300 feet have basically dissipated to where it's considered safe at 300. So if you extend that out to 500, then they're not
Extra
saying any
cushion.
harm at 500. Some of the stuff I've read on it.
Thanks for that. That was just the thing that caused me to think the most. I just
Sure.
wanted to have more information about
Right.
that, so.
Yeah, sure.
I'm thinking like Tony, I mean.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have 500 feet or even 2,640 feet from a primary, secondary school, shouldn't the flip side be that you're not gonna build a school or a residential house within that 500 or 2,640 feet?
Existing.
I mean, that should be the flip side. If we're gonna hold a gas station to it, then we should hold the others to say you
Correct.
need to stay away
Correct.
this far. So how does that account for like the school, if they would add on or anything like that? Does that?
Well, I think it's important to keep in mind, like I said, we're not changing any existing use. So if there's two conflicting uses, like the school wants to build on and that puts them within so many feet of, if we're talking about specifically the gasoline thing, and I don't think that is actually where the school restrictions are. I think the school is more on the tobacco and alcohol side.
Okay.
But essentially, we're going to, like if it's the school expanding, I don't think they would need an exception. They don't need to come in and petition to be able to expand, because it is already on their property that they can use it for that purpose.
If they would start building on the Piper lot that they got, I mean, would that be within?
Well, if they're there first, then it's a matter of who's coming in with the special use exception after they've already started their use of it. So realistically, this is probably more about where we put these gas stations going forward.
Okay.
But there is an element of where is residential development going to take place in town as well.
Yeah.
I think when I did my measurements for some of the distances and things like that, you could still put a gas station in on 331 close to 6, which there are some homes up there depending on where you would locate it, but there's also a number of businesses and there's frankly some larger setbacks and things like that that would probably accommodate that. You could also put them in the industrial park in places. I'm not saying that's going to be the ideal location for it. I'm just saying it's possible. What I wouldn't want is for frankly some of these older uses to come back. And I know I don't want to make anybody think, like, to give an example, where the Pizza Hut's located used to be a service station as well, as I understand it, way before my time. But I would, just because there was one there then, I would not want to put one there now. So just because it used to be that
Right.
use, this zoning ordinance, the way you have it right now, would not encourage or allow that. So, and I think that's the way to look at it. I don't want to say that one end of the residential end of things doesn't have to be considerate of where they move in.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. And it's this body's job to help shape those issues. That isn't it, but it is more, I think, more likely going to be a question of where do we put these types of businesses. And these changes are basically saying we're going to think very carefully before we allow them to go in residential neighborhoods.
So, do we want to add anything in here for not placing gas stations in our wellhead protection areas for the drinking water?
First question would be, in our wellhead protection areas, how are those zoned already?
Those are identified with the wellhead protection plan
Okay,
it's approved by IDEM.
okay.
So it may be good to kind of check that out to see where that falls. And
So,
Are they zoned as town property though?
yeah, the wellhead. So we're talking like there's an area of the town that's designated as wellhead protection area, and you technically could probably put a gas station out there without any zoning requirements. So we need to make sure that's protected.
until we know what that area is, though, it may not be as easy as you think, because would part of it be out like on Alexander Street near where the plant is?
Yeah, so everything comes from the northeast of both plants. So the water travels from the northeast going to the southwest.
Okay. So,
That's how the aquifer travels.
yeah. I'm willing to bet with what we have here, it's probably not gonna be an issue.
Okay.
And that's just based on, if I'm understanding the area right, how things are already zoned.
Okay.
And what they could be
That plant
turned
out
into.
there, it's in the industrial park.
So that's part of,
You have two water
Where
treatment
the water
plants.
tower.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I follow you. Okay, I see, I'm thinking of this one down
No.
here.
I'm thinking out there.
Okay, so I don't know that there isn't something that would help us with that already. Essentially some IDEM restrictions, but we could make it so,
It's at least observed or look at the plan to make sure that.
yeah, I'm not sure the best way to do that.
Okay.
And I wonder, I don't know, I'm gonna, if you wanna hold this up to fit it in, or do we wanna save that issue for the overall that's coming later
That's fine.
on?
Just something to
this
consider,
year?
look into.
No, it's a great point, but
Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know the answer.
Okay.
So we can figure that out.
Okay.
But there'd be some things beyond the zoning ordinance that may affect that.
Henry should have that entire plan.
Back to your comment on 331 North, and even take Center Street North till you get to the bypass. Just those properties along the east side of east side of Center Street, Elm Road, I guess it would be, when you get all the way out, across the bypass, and then across from the hospital on the open lot on the corner of High Road there. You know, there's a house, the farmhouse is a little further north, probably further than 500. Mike Myers' mom lives there in the house up the lane towards the hospital. Would the hospital have any, I mean, are we talking property lines, 50 feet, 100 feet across the street? Or are we talking to the physical building? Residential,
So,
the way I kind of
so
read
you're
that.
saying, does this apply?
Would that apply if they would have to obviously come in? But would this apply to either side? Let's say on the west side of Elm Road, right on the corner of Center Street, you got 100 people working at Southwire coming out, and they could go right there, come in, stop there on their way into work.
Right.
And or the same thing there, coming into the west side Southwire.
Well, so the way this is drafted, it's based on property lines,
Right.
not distances
Okay.
to structures.
Okay,
And
perfect.
so if you wanted to read distance between structures from the point of events or things like that, we can make that change. But again, that's what this discussion is for. And the hospital is a great example where their property line is here,
Yeah.
and there's considerable distance.
Sure,
So
sure.
you actually get to structure. On the other hand, they may have a more vested interest in making sure they're theoretically seeing people who have enough health issues that
Right.
they don't need necessarily anything else in the
Or your
air.
employees at any,
Yeah.
any place like that,
Yeah.
employees as well. I was just throwing out a couple of spots heading north anyhow that I could think of, and I would think if the south side becomes more residential first, that would probably not be as big of an issue as possibly going north. I know we one time had a funeral home there on the north side of First Road. And had that discussion meeting one night, and traffic was part of an issue there, I remember.
Yep.
But
But see, what this does is if if someone wants to put that type of business.
Yeah, I get it, they've gotta come in. And that-
Right,
so
and
that's-
before they didn't,
Didn't,
and there
correct,
wouldn't be an
right.
opportunity, and there's frankly things that aren't in here that I think would be issues for this body or the BZA, like lighting and traffic and things like that.
Sure.
You know, I think it's a public good that new businesses coming in and some of these things get reviewed. And I expect that some of the businesses that come in that put these things in, they're gonna be prepared to answer those questions and say, we've already had the traffic evaluated. We're ready to angle the lights away from adjoining properties and things like that. But, yeah, no, when I looked at this, I tried to figure out, is this effectively making it too difficult to put in these types of businesses? And I don't think that it does. There are places that are better than others or would be easier than others in town, that's for sure, but it's not an outright prohibition.
Yeah, I get that, they still have to come from the board, and I totally appreciate that, it's just, I'm looking at property spots that, okay, you put a Love's Truck Stop right out here on the northwest corner of Elm, or southwest corner of Elm Road, and right across the bypass, you put a Love's Truck Stop right in there, well, you got houses to the west, and you got houses to the east, and
Yep.
they would obviously have to come here,
Yep.
to make that happen, so.
But again, it all goes back to what is the existing zoning. If
Right.
that's zoned ag, they're coming in
They're
anyway,
coming in anyhow.
to get it rezoned.
Right.
So, there's probably gonna be, there hopefully would be a lot of discussion about that before it could happen. So, but, you know, some of the stuff,
But we're not gonna have 1,000 signatures on something out there where we've got 30 houses.
honestly, I could see people coming in and petitioning for some kind of traffic control on 6. If that was gonna happen there. I think there's enough concerns with the Southwire traffic in and
Yeah.
out. So I think the community's gonna respond if,
Rally around it.
well, I wouldn't say in favor or against, but
Right.
I think they'll come out and they'll express concerns. So, yeah, again, I think it all just comes back to considering the existing zoning, but I guarantee the wellhead issue that Mr. Michael brought up probably was not factored in entirely, and that may be something that we want to look at again if we're doing the overhaul. That's actually a really great point, and we're just gonna have to look into some of these things, but the overhaul, if we are able to go forward with that, gives you a chance to adjust definitions, but also reclassify properties potentially. You can amend the zoning maps and say, you know, this property is this. You can allow every existing use. I'm not saying that you necessarily want to do a lot of that, because I think it would be challenging if you were doing large areas wholesale. But you do have the ability to do that through a subsequent amendment later on.
And this applies to our 2 mile zoning
Yes.
boundary too.
Yes.
So like if Snuggles out there would be a gas station or something like that, this would apply to that, right? Because
But the further out you get, the less likely it's zoned to anything other than ag.
okay,
So
unless
yeah,
TJ
again,
Snuggles or something out
Yeah.
there. Okay,
yeah, there's some of those, there's a handful of businesses outside of town,
okay.
not that many though.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yep,
So,
yep.
Thank you.
Anything else that catches anybody's eye?
Do we do this by roll call or how do we do this?
Well, essentially, somebody can make a vote to make one of those 3 recommendation options. And if there's a second, then you guys will vote on it. It doesn't have to be by a roll call vote. You can do it by a roll call vote if you wish.
So we're taking a vote to put it under consideration.
You're making basically an initial decision on a recommendation, and then we have to come back sometime within the next, like we could come back next week, a week from today would be fine. And basically certify that recommendation, which goes in front of the town council at its next meeting.
Can we come back sooner than that?
Well, your issues are, you've got 10 business days in terms of how far you're supposed to go out, and we need 48 hours notice. So sometime between 2 days and 10 days, 10 business days, I've got, like, that's the window we have to do this.
The reason I'm asking is Monday I'm headed to Kansas
Okay,
and I'm gonna be out there 3 to 6 days.
okay,
So
Okay.
if we wait and do it next week, I won't be here.
okay. So we'll have some logistical planning to make sure we can get it formed.
Yeah, I can't do any time this week, so,
This week?
yeah, I can't.
Well, the most we could do it is
Yeah.
Thursday, and I'm also unavailable.
Yeah.
Like, that's the literally earliest, and we'd have to post the notice for a 6 o'clock meeting in the next 7 minutes. So, we're probably looking at next week anyway.
Yeah.
So,
If you do it early in the week, there's no chance I'll be here, but Thursday, Friday is a possibility.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so I will entertain, what was it again, a recommendation?
So you basically would make a motion to give the proposed amendments a favorable, unfavorable, or essentially no recommendation.
Right.
So,
All right, I move that we give these amendments a favorable recommendation.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Good.
Second, third. Do we have to have any other motions on that, or is that the only one?
you can ask if there's any other discussion,
Okay.
and then if there isn't any, call for the vote.
Okay. Anything else, any other points of interest? If not, I will entertain a vote or request a vote for the proposed amendments in a favorable position. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. The proposed amendments with a favorable outcome are approved. Any other business?
The only other agenda items were, commission member comments and then, adjournment. So if there's,
Do we
Do we
need to
want
set a date?
date for certification?
actually, yeah, we
then?
should set
I
a
was gonna
date.
say,
though.
let's do that.
Set a
So,
date.
Do you want to do it this week to include Mr. Daly, or do you want to do
No.
it next week?
we can't pull it off.
Okay,
Yeah,
Unfortunately, just logistically,
I can't do the 6th or 7th either.
You can't do what?
The 6th or 7th of July.
so that's Monday or Tuesday, so Wednesday or Thursday.
I cannot do the 9th or the 10th.
let's try the 8th then.
I can do the 8th.
I'm gone from the 3rd to the 13th.
Okay. Bill, are you,
2, 3, 4. As long as we have hobby, right?
well, when are you back?
I'm going out to Kansas for my granddaughter. She's playing national soccer.
Gotcha.
So it depends on how many games.
Oh,
she wins.
how well she does.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
If she
So
loses,
if
you're
she
back
gets
on right
bumped out
away.
early, I'll be
Well,
back early.
I don't know how feasible this is with everybody's work schedules, but you could, and I have to look into what, or how quickly the town council can take action, but could we do it at 4 o'clock on Monday, the 13th? And that way it's freshly certified and it goes to the town council for their meeting.
I can do that.
I can definitely do that.
I have a nighttime meeting on the 13th in Angola,
Okay,
I can
so
do
I'm
that.
not coming back till the 14th.
okay. Oh, that's right, yeah. Or
I probably can, I could probably make the 4 at 4. 4.
are you available for
Or
the
just slightly
13th at 4?
Should be able to,
Okay.
maybe truck to a place, but I'm good.
And then, and potentially we might get hobby then too.
Sure.
So, okay.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on the 13th. Got it.
And again, that meeting, it could be very brief. You just basically are saying, yeah, this is the recommendation we want to stick with and certify to the council. So,
So if there are any thoughts or concerns between now and then, we'll reach out to you, or?
yeah, if there's something else that comes up, send them to me.
Okay.
Is it feasible to have, if we have a problem with the quorum, to have a Zoom? That we could Zoom in and be there. I mean, I'm on other boards where we've done that, but nothing quite this official.
I don't know that this body has ever adopted the virtual appearance.
Okay. I just throwing it
rules.
out there because I can do it at 4 o'clock. I can zoom in, but I can't.
Yeah. Right now, it looks like we'll have a quorum.
Okay.
And, you know, we're supposed to have 9 members, we only have 7, but if we can get 6 of them here, that'll be fine.
Okay.
So, that'll be fine. So we'll see if we can get Mr. Jimenez and that'll be all right. But if you would like me to prepare, kind of along the lines of the decorum rules, we could prepare a similar ordinance that basically you can adopt that says, here's the rules according to state statute for Zoom participation. I think these meetings, you would be allowed to participate by Zoom, but I have to admit, I have not seen any of them handled online. So I'll have to see if the statute really contemplates that, but I don't see any reason why not at this point.
Okay, no other discussion. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
You're getting it, and I'm following.